Well, in welcome news for milk producers, reports show plant-based beverage sales are declining. The data comes as the FDA continues contemplating guidance on plant-based labeling, which is expected sometime this summer. Bjerga with the National Milk Producers Federation joins us now with the latest. And as always, Alan, thanks for your time here this morning. So what type of decline are we seeing in those alternative milk consumption rates?
Well, it is interesting, and it's not something you're ever going to hear from a plant-based beverage marketer. But the fact is their sales are going down. I mean, this is retail volume sale that shows that you're seeing about a 2% overall drop in plant-based beverage consumption over a year ago level. Soybeans are down, soy milk is down, almonds are down, rice is down. All these categories are down. The only thing that mitigates it somewhat is an increase in oat beverage consumption. And what you're seeing there really is a cannibalization of oat from other plant-based beverages. This is a market that's been around for 40 years and it's relatively mature as well. So when you see that segment, it overall is going down, but it looks like they've sort of hit their ceiling. And now when you see different categories within it going up, it's actually not coming at the expense of dairy products. It's coming at the expense of other products in the plant-based sector. That shows a sign of a ceiling in this consumption. It also shows that maybe some consumers are catching on to some of the misinformation we've been seeing from these plant-based beverage marketers about what their nutritional content may be or how they say they are equivalent to dairy by using dairy terms when of course, in fact, they're not.
So what do these numbers mean for dairy producers? What would you say is the big takeaway for both farmers and consumers?
Well, the big takeaway is let's put this in perspective. We've heard this canard for many years now about how plant-based beverages is going to lead to the death of dairy, and that's just absolutely not true. I mean, the almond beverage market itself is about the same size as that for lactate. You would hear people talking about almonds like they're the future of humanity. Look, I mean, a simple category of milk is as big as that market alone. And by the way, almond is actually declining. So you just have to remember not to believe the hype. And you have to remember that there are tried and true products that are nutritious for your family, nutritious for your children, part of a healthy diet with 13 essential nutrients in an affordable package, and that's dairy. And I think people are catching on to that, and you're seeing it show up in sales figures.
Now, Alan, as we mentioned, this comes as we continue waiting on labeling guidance from the Food and Drug Administration. Where do we stand on that, and how might these regulations possibly impact consumer buying moving forward?
Well, as you said, we are continuing to wait. This is a proposed guidance from the Food and Drug Administration on the labeling of plant-based beverages that wish to use dairy terms. There's been a lot of speculation as to what that may be. Some folks thought that there would be news out as soon as July, and that's not the case. The important thing is whatever happens on this, unless it is really a reinforcement of the integrity of dairy terms in the marketplace, it ain't going to be over. The guidance does not substitute for regulation. The federal government has to take a look at things like the Administrative Practices Act, which shows that you have to be sure that if you're making a change to something, you got to do it the above board way. And there's still a standard identity for dairy products over there that clearly shows that dairy terms should be for an animal product, and that milk, butter, all of these terms are something that come from a cow or at the very least an animal. So I think that you're going to see a continuation of this debate unless you see a ruling, frankly, in consumers' favor. And in the meantime, we're waiting to find out exactly what this language is going to be.
All right. Well, Alan, as always, thank you very much for your insight today. Alan Bjerga, he's with the National Milk Producers Federation, connecting with us today out of Washington. Thank you, Alan.